This is your Neepawa Town Council debrief for the November the 1st, 2022 meeting. The debrief will take you through the key issues being discussed by Council and provide a bit more information on what they mean for the town. Before we get to the meat of the meeting this week, CAO Sinchishin swears in the new Council, which includes 5 returning members. That's Brian Headley, who moved up from Deputy Mayor to Mayor in this term, along with Daryl Gerard, Jason Nadeau, Marika Kosenchuk, and Murray Parrott, whom Headley later named as his Deputy Mayor. And 2 new councillors elected for this term, Lisa Pottinger and Yvonne Sisley. Council members are given their committee appointments, and they conduct all necessary ceremony and paperwork to be able to proceed with regular business. This includes their conflict of interest declarations and a review of the Code of Conduct bylaw.
It's a municipal act requirement. A person elected as a member of council must make and file with the chief administrative officer an oath of office in the form approved by the minister, and the person may not carry out the power, duty, or function as a member of the council until the oath of office is filed. I'm going to ask you all to stand. I'm not going to individually read this all out 7 times. Do you all solemnly declare that you are Canadian citizens, that you are the full age of 18 years, that you are electors of the town of Neepawa, that you are residents of the province of Manitoba, that you are not disqualified under any provision of the Municipal Act or any other act of the legislature from being a member of the council of the town of Neepawa, that you will act faithfully in the office of councillor without fear, favor, or affection, and will truly, faithfully, and impartially, and the best of knowledge and ability, execute the duties and responsibilities of that office. And do you make this solemn declaration consciously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath and by virtue of the Canada Evidence Act? And then individually, I'm going to ask you, do you, Brian Headley, swear that perform the oath of office as a member of council for the town of Neepawa?
I do.
Do you, Daryl Gerard, swear that to perform the oath of office as a member of council for the town of Neepawa?
I do.
Do you, Jason Nadeau, swear the oath of office as a member of the council for the town of Neepawa?
I do.
Do you, Yvonne Sisley, swear the oath of office as a member of the council of the town of Neepawa? I do. Do you, Lisa Pottinger, swear the oath of office as a member of the council of the town of Neepawa?
I do.
Do you, Marika Kosenchuk, swear the oath of office as a member of the council of the town of Neepawa?
I do.
And do you, Murray Parrott, swear the oath of office of the council of the town of Neepawa?
I do.
That's good. So if you can all hand me your forms that you're going to sign now as part of the oath, I will validate them and we can get down to business.
Okay, that was everything on the procedures.
Yep, the official part's over, unless you want to do your pictures right now.
We can wait until after the meeting.
Okay, it'll kind of be short, we'll do them at the end. Okay.
Okay, at this point, we will look at appointment of deputy mayor, and so I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. Councillor Parrott, Councillor Gerard. Be it resolved that the town of Neepawa hereby appoint Councillor Parrott as deputy mayor. All in favor?
Clearly he didn't know. He didn't know. I'll maybe just summarize.
You were in favor of making yourself.
I'm going to maybe just summarize. Just so the public is aware, under the organizational procedure bylaw, the head of council has the ability to promote the appointments within the specific obligations, such as deputy mayor and the committee appointments. So our mayor actually attended our office and this was his request that we put on the resolution, so.
Yes, and we didn't finalize.
And clearly, we're in no.
All right.
Okay. On to number 2, so committee of appointments.
Would we maybe just, could I read these out first
Yeah.
so that people have a chance to absorb a little bit, because you don't have it on your agenda. So this was what the recommendation was. Committee of the whole would be all members of council. Board of revision, all members of council, with Mayor Headley the chair and myself as the secretary. Human resources committee would be Mayor Headley and Councillor Gerard. General government and finance committee, Councillor Gerard as the chair and Councillor Pottinger. Neepawa area planning district would be Deputy Mayor Parrott and Mayor Headley. County court building, Councillor Gerard and Councillor Kostenchuk. Sabre estate management, Councillor Nadeau and Councillor Kostenchuk. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities, no appointed members, just a general membership. The Protection and Community Services Committee would be Councillor Pottinger as chair and Councillor Kostenchuk. Neepawa Veterinary Services District, Councillor Sisley. Home Assistance Neepawa District, or HAND, Councillor Kostenchuk. Neepawa Area Disabled Persons Association, Councillor Sisley. Physician Recruitment Committee, Deputy Mayor Parrott. Spruce Plains Justice Committee, Councillor Nadeau. Public Works and Infrastructure Committee, the Deputy Mayor Parrott is the chair and Councillor Sisley. Evergreen Environmental Technologies, Mayor Headley. Trans-Canada Yellowhead Highway Association, just a general membership for there, as well as general membership on the Manitoba Good Growth Association. Recreation and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Sisley is chair and Councillor Pottinger. Western Regional Library and Neepawa Library, Councillor Nadeau and Bill Stillwell is a citizen rep. Whitemud Watershed Conservation District, Councillor Gerard and Bill Stillwell is a citizen rep. Neepawa Area Development Corporation, or NADCO, Deputy Mayor Parrott and Councillor Pottinger. Yellowhead Centre, Councillor Nadeau. Yellowhead Economic Corridor, Councillor Nadeau. And Rossburn Subdivision Trails Association, Councillor Nadeau.
Following this, we move right into council reports, which are brief given that this is the first meeting of council, but there is still some ongoing work. Councillor Kostenchuk reports on the success of a fundraiser for the Handy Van, which raised over $3,000. That was a meal at the Legion. And Councillor Sisley gives her first report as a councillor, responsible for recreation now, reporting on the Recreation Department's Halloween activities this past weekend. Deputy Mayor Parrott gives an update on some paving work at the clinic, the upcoming deadline for the Farm and Leisure Lottery, and Dr. Ong's retirement. Manager of Operations Denise Sakay is once again called upon to talk about the state of road repair in the town. And he is finally able to report that Davidson Street is completed and reopened, and that work at Mountain and Commerce will be next. Any remaining paving work after that will have to be rescheduled into the spring, including the new tennis courts, due to declining temperatures.
As many may have seen, Maple Leaf is in town paving. They've completed Davidson Street, they've completed the Brown Hill. I haven't gone to inspect that one yet, and they should be making their way over to the Mountain and Commerce Street intersection. So just again, be cautious of the construction equipment, and they'll be wrapping things up. Unfortunately, they will not be completing all of our paving this year, so we'll be in discussions with them to ensure that we have a spring arrival with them coming in. Road construction for the new hospital will also be commencing shortly. We've all locates are in place. Possessions of properties are granted on November 1st. So staff and construction company will start working there shortly.
So just going to confirm that the tennis courts and that will be waiting until spring then?
Yes, in consultation with our actual tennis court expert guy, he actually recommended we do not pave just because we'd have bad joints. The temperature's too cool to really get a good compaction and merging of the asphalts together. So he figured that our best scenario would be wait till spring with more ambient heat out, and we can get a better surface like.
Can we get us someone to do that in the spring so we don't go into year 3 without courts?
That's something we'll be discussing with the finance committee on a strategy of how we ensure they come back.
Okay.
Sakay also covers several other projects around town, including approval for the removal of the temporary crossing at Park Lake, and a replacement for the golf course bridge that was washed out at the same time. The new reservoir at the water treatment plant is now up and running, with very few hiccups along the way, and staff have also completed their annual swabbing of the pipes from the well site this past weekend. He also reminds councillors and residents that the yard waste program is still ongoing, and to ensure the use of compostable bags or the waste will not be picked up. The official ribbon cutting for the new RCMP station will be on Friday, November 4th at 1 p.m. with tours about that building and the nearby fire hall available.
Public Works staff has been busy with water and sewer installations. Many may have noticed that we had inconvenienced them as well on Mill Street when we were servicing the new apartment block on the old Murray's lot. So that work, the water and sewer have been completed, and now we'll be attacking some storm sewer going up the hill, so that shouldn't be too bad. We'll try to do repairs on the street where we've got open cuts and try to put some more suitable material in there that is still a little squishy and not quite to the degree we'd like it at yet. We're still running our yard waste program, so residents can still put it out in a compostable bag. So ideally, I want to see a brown paper bag out there for residents. That makes it a lot easier. If it's in a plastic bag, staff are instructed to leave it, so they will not touch anything you have if it's in a plastic bag. Lagoon construction meeting, or phase 2 lagoon construction meeting will be held this Thursday at 10:30. This is a pre-bid construction meeting. We'll do some test holes and contractors will have an opportunity to view the site for the upcoming closure on that bid. As usual, we're in November right now, so we've started our budget items ready for next year. As new councillors, some of you may want to put your wish list together if there's some items you want to see and pass them on to staff so that we can start working on preparing some numbers for you, something that's added to you. Stantec Engineering was out again just to do some final checkups on our 2022 DFA claims. So they had to come back for some second round evaluations of some of the damaged sites and reevaluate them. Also under Park Lake construction, the removal of the temporary crossing of new bridges has been finally approved. All the paperwork's in place, so we should see construction equipment coming in to remove those temporary crossings. So again, anyone in that area, please be cautious of the equipment. The Park Lake rehabilitation project has also been awarded, and I believe that we're just waiting to sign some construction documents to approve track work construction on that project, so that's exciting. We haven't seen a construction schedule, nor we've had a construction meeting yet, so we don't have a schedule to update you with. And as of yesterday, the golf course bridge replacement that was damaged in the 2020 flood has been gone out for tender, and that project closes, bids close on November 14th. So, what a bit.
Okay. Any questions? Okay,
So, one of the things that we pride ourselves in is looking towards the future. Could I ask you, Denise, to explain the dirt piles east of town and why you're planning for the future and how, and the opportunity that you provided by your strategic planning for that Mill Street? And explain as to why you did all that, and it's a positive thing, just not trying to nail it or anything like that.
Well,
That was like a good job. I'd like you to tell everybody how you did that.
the dirt piles east, so it would be our industrial park. During that subdivision, that process application, we had approval to realign some of the drainage projects in there. We also still have to correct it and build a drainage pond for retention. So in the midst of having a big slough, we're going to correct the drain, and that's why we brought some extra fill in there to correct that, and then hopefully expand the Beautiful Plains farming project that they're doing right there. So we'll do some moving, some earth moving, until such time that a purchaser comes along to acquire the property from the town. But just an opportunity came for some free fill, and we jumped on it, so always appreciative of free dirt.
Mill Street?
Which one are you talking about on Mill Street now?
I got the street, well, you did the sewer, or the water loop and the gutter, and have I got the street wrong?
I don't know, that I'm having a cloud image here, I can't quite think. Middle Street we just did for servicing of the apartments,
Yes.
so we did from Brown to Mountain, and we did directional drilling on that one.
But did you not create a loop and extend for future development?
No, not quite yet. Just due to time constraints, we have everything prepped, and waiting for that loop, that'll be a spring project. We didn't want to open up any more at the bottom of the hill until we had pavers that we could come back in and patch that up right away. So everything's in play and ready to start digging again in spring.
We'll come back into it in the spring.
Yeah, that's all there and waiting.
Now that the location of the new hospital has been confirmed, CAO Colleen Sanchishan starts the process of getting all required services to the area. According to Sanchishan, the sale of the land closed the day of the meeting, and the RHA was looking for a documented commitment from the town to extending services into that area. This would include roads, sewer, and water. Council held first reading of that resolution, followed by first reading of a bylaw to open the new road. Those are the bones of it, but Sanchishan explains the whole process in detail.
Progress subdivision, new hospital site.
So in your next item after this one, you're going to proceed with the first reading to open public roads that will give effect to access to the new hospital location out on the southwest of 341415. What this resolution does is provide comfort to Shared Health and the Prairie Mountain Health Authority that Neepawa is committed to seeing this project through and making sure that water and sewer is placed and that the road infrastructure exists. So it is quite a lengthy resolution. It did not appear on your agendas as you read through your stuff this weekend. This is kind of a last minute thing because today was the closing of the purchase of the property and they wanted this resolution in place. It could not wait till the 15th. So I will let Mayor Haley read it out, but it basically commits the town of Neepawa to helping partner with Shared Health and Prairie Mountain Health and concluding the subdivision conditions that still remain outstanding, such as the drainage plan, the traffic impact study, all the requirements of Manitoba infrastructure to create those access and get all the permits in place. It's going to be time consuming, there'll be easements required. And the fact that we understand by doing that, we do have a financial commitment, but should we not get an exemption under the capital contribution through the regional health authorities, policies that are in place for contribution financially, that we be considered as an in-kind contribution, already paying our financial cost into putting these pieces of infrastructure in place, but also understanding that all of the benefiting properties out in the southwest of 34, and those surrounding that may get services extended to them, will pay a proportionate amount to that time and cost. So, any questions about that? I'll have you read the resolution.
Okay, so we'll need a mover and seconder for this resolution. Councillor Pottinger and Councillor Kostachuk. So whereas subdivision application 4437-22-8407 sets out the subdivision of a 39-acre parcel from property owned by Daniel and Leanne Zettler in the southwest 341415 west for the purposes of selling the parcel of to Prairie Mountain Regional Health Authority for the construction of a new regional hospital in Neepawa. And whereas the council of the town of Neepawa deems it in its best interests of the municipality and the greater community to participate as necessary with property owners, Shared Health and Prairie Mountain Regional Health Authority to ensure all criteria contained in the conditional approval issued by the Community and Regional Planning Office can be satisfied in order to conclude the subdivision and facilitate the transfer of title. And whereas the Council of the Town of Neepawa understands that in addition to the east-west road access fronting the parcel will also have a direct north-south access to PH 16 at a location that conforms with the PTH functional plan for Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure. And whereas bylaw 3219-22 of the Town of Neepawa shall identify the road that will service the parcel which will open as public under a formal road plan. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Town of Neepawa formally commit to a continued engagement with all parties to conclude subdivision 4437-22-8407 in a timely manner and continue to work towards ensuring the property can be servicing with sewer, water, and road infrastructure that will meet and exceed design standards of the town of Neepawa. Be it further resolved that although the town is prepared to take technical and financial control of the installation and construction of sewer, water, and roads, further discussions will be required to outline the respective distribution of costs to be leveraged fairly and proportionately against the benefiting properties, taking into account present and future development opportunities that may come to fruition on Southwest 341415W and shall include the ability to extend to improved services to neighboring locations. Be further resolved that should there be no exemption from the community contribution required to the capital projects under the Manitoba Health, the town of Neepawa would deem that those amounts expended by the town of Neepawa to service and supply the 39-acre parcel eligible be measured as in-kind community contribution for the purpose of satisfying the policy of Manitoba Health. All in favor? Carried. Okay, public roads.
So this is the bylaw now, to open the roads on the southwest of 341415. It's just a simple bylaw, and it's prepared based on a plan that Stephen Bradley Richmond created and sworn to on October 27th, and it's signed deposit number 1562-2022. After first reading, this will go into the province of Manitoba for circulation amongst all of the departments. We will await comments. Should there be no comments and it returns probably in about 3-4 weeks, we can proceed with second and third reading.
Okay, any other questions? Last for mover, Deputy Mayor Parrott, seconded by Councillor Sisley. Be it resolved the bylaw 3219-22 being a bylaw of the town of Neepawa to open municipal roads Southwest 341415W be now read for the first time. All in favor? Carried.
Also covered were the continued availability of the food cyclers from the town office, the annual snow removal agreement with Manitoba Transport and Infrastructure, and the appointment of Mayor Headley to the Provincial Municipal Justice Advisory Committee.
Provincial Municipal Justice Advisory Committee.
So this is a request I had out of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities. Given the election results for the province, they have vacancies on the Provincial Municipal Justice Advisory Committee. They would like to see if the town of Neepawa would be interested in appointing a representative, considering that we do have a municipal policing service agreement, RCMP contract from the Midwestern District, and recently opened a new detachment. Generally speaking, this group includes members from cities, towns, and rural municipalities in Manitoba, as well as representatives from the AMM and Manitoba Justice. Individuals are selected based on geographic location, municipality size, and experience with different types of police service agreements. The objective of the committee is to bring a focus on strategic collaboration to justice and community safety issues present in municipalities. The appointment is for a 4-year term effective December 2020. Meetings occur no less than twice a year, and virtual meeting options can be provided. The AM does not cover any costs. They will be with the responsibility of the municipality. If we are interested in putting a member on this committee, they would like a resolution of council and an indication that we would be willing to cover any cost should they attend. So we did not have a member in the last council term. We did in the term before that. Normally, not always, it tends to be your head of council. So at that time, Mayor Debrief was the representative on the committee. Quite often, otherwise, it will be the chair of the committee associated with policing, which would be the protection committee. So I guess the recommendation we would have from here, speaking with the AMM, would be our head of council or Councillor Pottinger as the chair of the protection committee. But it's up for discussion. I just need a name. I defer to that council.
Okay. I think that'd be okay.
You're okay with that? Well, then write your name in that slot.
Okay. Councilor Rogers, second by Deputy Mayor Kerr. Be it resolved that we hereby appoint myself, Brian Headley, to the Provincial Municipal Justice Advisory Committee for a 4-year term effective December 22, understanding that any associate travel costs would be borne by the town of Neepawa. All in favor? Carried. Councilor Gerard.
I'll just make mention within the town, back in the summer, we undertook a project with the food cycler program. There are still a number of food cyclers still available within the town office. I would encourage all my fellow councilors to take up that challenge as well. I'm just about at week 12 on that program, and it's amazing how much food waste can be removed from going to landfill. This program would provide a resident a $500 machine for a cost of $175, and simply filling out a 12-week survey. And it's fairly simple, it's just a check when you do it. So, but it is amazing, and some of the residents who are participating now are actually quite impressed with how it's performing.
I would like to add to that. I have one that we're using at Arts Forward that we started through the Field to Table Club, and it is the slickest thing and amazing how much waste is that
It's
we're,
gone.
yeah, it's gone, and we're putting it in the gardens there, so we should have very good vegetables next summer.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so the challenge is on. All right, anything else? Owen?
You can view end-to-end coverage of the Town Council meeting elsewhere on the NACTV schedule, including immediately following this. We'd love to know if you're watching the program and if you have any questions that we can help find the answers to. You can reach the station at 204-476-2639, by email at nactvnews@gmail.com, or on Facebook at Neepawa TV. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you next time.